And good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. Happy Merry Christmas Eve. Look at that. We're doing a Christmas Eve show. Getting a little choked up. No, I just got frog cut in my throat because I haven't talked to anybody this morning. So, weird, right? Usually by now I'm having conversations, everything going, hi, hey, everybody. How are you doing today on this fine Christmas Eve show? All right. First time here, long time here, and you know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, what the weather is like in your area. And then five things. This is gonna be a tough one. Five things. What are you doing today? I know some people they're on break. They're off this week, off next week. I know the ones that are only working a half day today. Other ones that like, what's Christmas Eve? We don't celebrate it. We got other things going on. We got to work. So interesting to hear, what your day is going to look like today. And today, what we're going to talk about? Well, we made it, right? We made it to the end. We're this is the time of year, that does kind of to mess with your head because it's like everywhere you look, somebody's doing some year in review that makes it seem like they crushed every single goal, that they scaled effortlessly, that they rested perfectly every night. They never spilled coffee on themselves. They never answered emails at the middle of the night, and your year didn't look like that at all. And so it's easy to tell yourself that you fell short this year, but that's not true. You built something. It may have been quietly or imperfectly, or sometimes angrily, oftentimes exhausted, but you built something this year. So, like we're not talking about let's wrapping this year up with a bow like a Christmas present. Talk about like, how did it actually went. The wins, the chaos, the weird stuff. Where printing didn't happen. Hey, I bought TRW. How wild is that to say? So that's what it is. We're just going to talk honestly. So, let me know. How was your year? How are things going from there? Uh, and Renee, good morning. 42 in Gray in Chicagoland. We're going to get like, what, 60 tomorrow? Was that what I seen? 50 or 60? And the bottom comes out this weekend. We were talking Christmas dinner. What are we going to do? And of course, you just want to fire up the grill. So I don't know. We haven't really figured out Christmas dinner yet. We're doing there. Still kind of working in the rest. Five. Cut last minute ornaments, press last minute shirt, visit with friends, eat Chinese food, relax. It sounds like a great day. Keith, hey, from the sunny space coast of Florida. No work today. Nothing in the cup yet. There's nothing wrong with that. Our courier service isn't open today, so I don't think anything's going to ship out because we'd have to take those to UPS, FedEx, UPS, DHL, all those. Now, I don't know, is today considered a holiday for post office? Because I know, last week they said, what was it, today and Friday? But I don't know if that held true to post office. So some things may go out today, but most likely things will go out on Friday when we're back there for it. Barb, good morning to you. Renee, a spool adapter. Yeah, we realized that we have like some of the 250-gram rolls, and so we need to print out some spool adapters. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use it to make stuff for itself. Spool adapters. That's what we're doing. Hey, and Alex, good morning to you. Newport, Rhode Island. Coffee in a cup. Can I eat Christmas cookies? Absolutely, 100%. I was told that I couldn't eat any more Christmas cookies because they needed to be saved for Sunday when we have family Christmas. And I said, if you want them to wait till Sunday, you should not have made them now. You should have made them on Saturday. So it's tough. It's tough not to eat Christmas cookies. Taking this week is scheduled and replan for 26 as my did not go as planned. And mine did not either. We had goals, and about a quarter of the way to halfway through the year, those completely got flipped upside down, and then it was purchasing KRW, and everything flipped up from there. And now it's how can we advance it into next year? Things that we need to change, processes that need to be fixed. Offers to field. People have offered different products, different services to buy it outright. Hey, we're exploring everything. There's a lot that we want to do in 26. So we will keep trudging forward and bringing you the best TRW that we can. Barb, good morning, noon, North Central Minnesota, 20, cloudy, water to cup. Shop closed till January 5th. That's right. Oh, yeah, you can, Alec. Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah, cookies. Cookies in the morning. I want some cake in the morning. Some fudge in the morning is good. That sounds good. Morning, Barb from Renee. Hi, Renee and Alex from Barb. My house is loud with kids, dogs, and grandkids. There's nothing wrong with that. Ours is still sleeping, although Krista said, I need to make sure that I'm up by 8:30 today. She works at 11 and she wants to do her hair and makeup and all of that for today. So she's, I got to make sure that I'm up. I think the rest of the house is still sleeping because we were, I don't think we called it a night last night until 12:30, 1 o'clock. So yeah, let them sleep in. And then, tomorrow they'll be up early anyway. So I still got Christmas shopping to do. I got to go do that today. I got to wrap presents. I got presents being delivered. I should probably shop. Yeah, so I'll shop today. So we'll get there with it. I know, right? Make more. They definitely need to make more cookies. Make more cookies. Dad likes cookies, and I want to eat all the cookies. So I've got toffee to finish. They're like, you can eat these, and you can eat these, and don't eat these Oreo balls because we need to save these. There's like, so it's like two things. It's like, here's what we can eat. Here's what can't be broken into till Sunday for Christmas. Oh, man, so now I totally feel like a kid, not able to open up their Christmas presents. Don't feel that way. Uh, and Rustling, good morning to you. Merry Christmas Eve. That's right, Merry Christmas Eve. If you missed last night's show, we did some New Year stuff and we showed off. Let's see, this is the premium. Let me get some light on it. This is a premium crystal with the Phoenix. Premium crystal with the Phoenix. So you can see how that bad boy looked last night. We should have take a design and redo it to make it as your own. So there's that. And then on this side was the Crystal AB premiums with the Wisteria purple. So Wisteria. So that was fun last night to do. And next Monday, next Tuesday, I think we're going to start in on Valentine's Day stuff. So that's the plan for there. Renee, they stayed up until 1 making cookies, plus brought a bunch. Oh, I want more cookies like that. Cookies and Oreo balls and fudge and brownies, and I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. All right. Yeah. So let me know what you guys are up to today, and let's keep it rolling there with it. As we go. We'll kind of general conversation today, Friday on stuff. We'll go through how can we kind of have it sort of set up the same. 5 tips, action steps, things like that. So I say we just get right into it. Because we'll start right here. You know, right now, especially over this last year, a lot of makers immediately downplay their wins if they weren't loud or flashy or screenshot worthy. Right? If you didn't double your revenue, go viral or blow up, it's really easy to tell yourself that 25 was just it was fine. Right? But that's not how real progress works. Uh, you know, that's not how real progress usually shows up. A lot of the wins this year, are things like fewer meltdowns, faster decisions, cleaner workflows, and not crying in the bathroom alone as often. Which, by the way, that absolutely counts. Some of the your biggest wins, you probably didn't even celebrate because they just felt boring. Right? You answered emails faster without spiraling. You quoted jobs without apologizing. You quoted jobs faster. You trusted yourself and you Googled things less. Those are the kinds of wins that don't get the applause, but they do quietly change everything that you do. So this year felt, steadier than last year, even slightly. That's not by accident. That's growth. And it's doing growth without needing any sorts of validation of it. Some examples of this: Maker didn't hit their massive sale goals, but stopped dreading her inbox and stopped second guessing every price she sent. That's a win. Okay? Another one realized that they could handle busy weeks without completely falling apart. Wasn't true a year ago. That's a win. So for this, we just need to say it out loud, right? Not all wins need witnesses to be real, right? That's it. Not all wins need witnesses to be real. Now, number 2, you chaos happened, but it does not cancel the good stuff. So, yeah, let's not sit here and pretend that this year was smooth. Maybe you want to. But for us, it absolutely wasn't. Stuff went sideways, orders got weird, suppliers did supplier things, life showed up at the worst possible times. And if we're being honest, there were moments where we thought, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this again? This doesn't mean that the year failed at all. It just means that your year was real. You know, chaos isn't proof that you're bad at business. Chaos it's just what happens when you're actually running a business. What matters is not whether that chaos showed up, but whether you handled it differently than you used to. Did you communicate instead of disappear? Did you fix what you could and just let the rest go? Did you survive without burning everything down? We need to stop telling the story that success means nothing went wrong. Success often looks a lot like a lot went wrong and I handled it better than ever before. So, some examples of this is a maker lost a supplier mid-season and still fulfilled orders by pivoting instead of panicking. Many people have done that. Tried to order something and it's out of stock. Now I got to switch, figure it out, right? Another one had their personal chaos collide with their work chaos and chose honesty over pretending everything was fine. How many have that? Work and personal collide. Things aren't always going to be fine. So, for this is all we got to do. We just got to finish the sentence honestly. The messiest moment of my year taught me blank. The messiest moment of my year taught me blank. What was it? What did it teach you for? Now, number three, some stuff that we're pretending didn't happen, it actually happened, right? Let's talk about the things that were just kind of quietly swept under that rug. The offer that flopped, the system that technically worked but made you miserable, the product you kept selling even though you hated every single second of it. We don't love admitting these things because they feel like failures, but they are actually clarity showing up late. you know Ignoring these moments, that doesn't protect your confidence, it delays it. When you can say, yeah, that didn't work, without spiraling, you're leveling up. You don't need to rewrite history, or justify why it happened. You just need to tell the truth so you're not carrying it into the next year unconsciously. And no, 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 acknowledging this doesn't mean fixing it today. It just means you're done lying to yourself about it. And some examples of this is a maker realized that custom orders just drained her, even though they made her money. All right. Another one been that selling everything kept her busy, but not profitable. So what we're gonna do is just write down one thing from 2025 that you've been avoid naming, and name it, and no drama attached to it. This is what we're doing now. So we had a lot of issues on websites, a lot of things that we tried didn't work, a lot of offers that didn't work the way that we planned, a lot of feedback on things too that we need to fix, and that's what we're going with it. All right, before we move into 4 5, let's check back in here. Let's see. I came up with this last night with Big Brando. Merry T-shirt miss. Merry T-shirt miss to you, Alex. Yeah, I love it. Merry T-shirt miss. I didn't have any cookies exchanged this year. I didn't have any cookies sent to me this year. I didn't get anything. Maybe there'll be cookies under my tree. Maybe there'll be cookies under my tree. Yeah. The cookies that end up becoming like a canister for sewing needles. You know exactly which ones I'm saying when I say that, right? But I said you have to remember that what you see for most people on social media is a highlight reel. Absolutely. You don't see everything fall apart and burn down and the mess and everything. When I see those, I feel, "Oh, look, I'm not the only one." So I love seeing those. Tim headed out to get my ears lowered. Oh, then back in a little computer work, then off the rest of the day. I've been working on a website after it crashed the other day. Tim, stay busy, man. Stay busy. Right? Where we're gonna put him down here. He's gonna gauge them and have loops, and then we're gonna use what are those things called? Repel hooks. That's what we're going to use. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, and try to look at things with positive attitude. You just have to. You have to. You have to. You have to. Morning, Tim from Renee, and hi, Tim from Barb. Patience. Linda says patience. Chris said I had too many. That's okay. We all had a lot. Anybody that didn't have something, I don't know. Maybe we're not pushing hard enough because there's issues, man. Okay, number four. Growth showed up in what didn't wreck you anymore. What does that even mean? Yeah, well, one of the most underrated signs of growth is just emotional regulation. Think about it. What happened this year that should have just flat out wrecked you, but it really didn't? What problem showed up years past would have completely shut down, but this year you just handled it. No spiral, no meltdown, no 3-day emotional hangover. You know, you know what that is? That's growth. And it's easy to miss because it doesn't come with the fireworks. You know, it just feels like, huh, it wasn't as bad as it used to be. But that moment right there, that's proof that something inside of you shifted, right? If fewer things knocked you over this year, that matters now more than how impressive your numbers look, right? Some examples of this is Maker dealt with a difficult customer and responded calmly instead of emotionally for the first time ever. Sometimes I've lost count the amount of times that I've typed something out just to type it out and never hit send because I just needed to get that out, and then I was able to respond back, not emotionally. Yeah, another business owner, let last minute order go without guilt or panic. Hey, sorry, you missed the cutoff time. You missed the cutoff time. Not my fault. you know, and just didn't feel guilty or panicked about it. So just look back at this year. What is one thing that used to send you on a complete spiral and this year didn't? Hey, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that that doesn't happen anymore. All right. Number five. And this one is, I think, probably one of the most important ones. You are allowed to tell the truth about this year, and you're allowed to do that out loud. You don't owe 2025, a pretty summary with a bow and flashy lights and that. You don't need to package it up neatly and turn it into this big motivational caption thing, right? You're allowed to say, some of it's great, some of it sucked, and a lot of it was weird, and that's all that counts. That honesty, that doesn't make you negative. It just makes you grounded. And when you tell the truth to yourself, to others, to the general public, you really stop, carrying that unresolved weight into next year. You, you don't need to do it, to broadcast it publicly, but you need to you need to allow it privately for yourself because pretending everything was fine, and that's exhausting. Right? And you've done enough exhausting things this year already. It's not about fixing the year. It's just about closing it without lying to yourself. So, some examples, of this is Meg admitted that she was proud and exhausted at the same time and felt relief instead of guilt. Well, another one allowed herself to say, "I grew, but man, am I tired." And that wasn't trying to spin it any way. So, for this, finish this sentence and finish it honestly. The real story of my 2025 is blank. Let's hear what you got for it. So, you know, what was your biggest what was your biggest surprise of the year? Good, bad, totally unexpected. Let it be. Let it be messy. Let it be funny. Let it be real. Ours, we bought TRW. I don't I don't think I didn't even see that coming. Even when we were the plane to sign to go down there, I thought it was going to fall apart. While we were in the air, we are going to land, and it wasn't there. It still doesn't seem real. Probably because we haven't pulled a paycheck or anything from it, and we keep putting money into it every month. We know it's getting to where it is, and we have to rebuild back things, but it still doesn't feel like it's ours. maybe that'll change 26 when everything, is we're not split with things because halfway through a year we got new systems, new things coming into place. But yeah, totally unexpected to do that and to continue to carry on and to thank a lot of you for holding still, staying with us, seeing what was to come before making. Well, Matt's not here, so we're out. So we do appreciate. Thank you for that. Now, to recap all this, let's close this year without lying to ourselves. Because here's the truth: 2025 doesn't need defending, doesn't need fixing today. All right. You had real wins, even if they weren't loud. You handled chaos way better than before. You learned what you don't want to carry forward into next year, 2026. You proved that you were resilient in ways that numbers just don't show. And you earned the right to be honest about how you actually felt this year. May not have been perfect, but it was real, right? And that counts more than what you think. That's what we have for you on this fine, fine Christmas Eve. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So Friday we will do a show. I think that one we're gonna talk about things to stop doing in 2026. Where it's that weird time between Christmas and New Year's. We're tired or slowing down, and your brain just starts replaying every questionable business decision you made this year. The undercharging, the late nights, the sure, I can squeeze that in text, that ruined perfectly good evenings. So that's what we're going to talk about there. Questions, comments, concerns before we wrap this up for you today and get you on with your Merry Christmas Eve. Haircut, you don't remember? I do, Tim. I do. I'm just, I do. I'm not that young. I'm old. I'm old, my friend. All right. We're gonna get you guys out of here. Mentorship community, that call will start up about 35 minutes. We're gonna work a little. We're gonna get in there. We should be there to mess around. We've got stuff printing to go through, and I've got invoices to pull and things like that. So we'll get through all of that. All right. With that, you guys have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you on the other side of tomorrow. Tomorrow's Christmas. Enjoy it. If you don't have somebody to enjoy it with, enjoy it through social media, right? There's friends we can reach out. We're here for it all, there for it. And Alex says buying a business, replenishing, rebuilding is really tough. I don't know if I would do it again. I'm right there with you, Alex. Like even last night we talked about in 26, relaunching the transfer side of the business. And when we go through, if we want to do it right, we're gonna, invest 20, 15, 20, 25, $30,000 in the inventory just to have. So it's going to be a process because, it's a process to put in there little by little by little. Whether we're going to expand, move some things into it, what we're going to put out there for it the year, but it's going to be an exciting year and we can't wait to do it again. And Destin, appreciate the validating words. You're very welcome. I need these just as much as you guys because we're all going through it together. And Alex says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see everybody on the side. Leave some cookies out for Santa. Maybe some fudge. Maybe some booze. Santa doesn't have to worry about drinking and driving, right? Because the reindeer do all the work. So yeah, leave them out something. All right. Until next time. You guys have an amazing day. Peace, love, press on. We'll see you.